Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV, and we want to talk here for the first time to Gran Colombia Gold in our virtual online interview series, and we have Serafino Iacono here, the Executive Chairman of the company. Welcome and good day, Serafino. How are you? All fine?
Very well, thank you.
Super.
Great to see you.
Yeah, great to see you, and thanks for taking the time. I must say, I was very impressed with your company when I went first through the presentation, and you are the largest gold producer in Colombia, one of the top gold producers in the world, I would call it, over 200,000 ounces a year. This is really great. But what mostly impressed me was your monthly dividend. That is outstanding.
It's a nice thing to have. I'm very happy as a shareholder to receive that.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I have to buy some shares after that interview. Definitely.
I hope I will give you the right answers.
Yeah, I think so. No, as I said, I was really impressed. So maybe you can give us a short overview on the company, please. As I said, you are one of the top gold producers.
Yes, thank you. Gran Colombia is is the largest gold producer in Colombia. Mm-hmm. It's got a very well diversified portfolio of assets. We'll go over real quick over them. It's a company that was founded in 2009. We acquired our main asset, that is our producing asset, the Segovia mine, in 2010. We took it from a mine that was producing 70,000 ounces a year to a mine that produced, this year is going to do on the upper guidance 220,000 ounces a year. Very low cost producer, but the most impressive of this thing, we sit at being one of the top 5 mines in the world for grade. So it is one of the highest grade mine, one of the top 5 grade mine in the world. Very few can say that. It sits in the Antioquia area, fantastic infrastructure, great community. We are very close to our community, where we are the biggest provider of employment, but also education for our community, and we take care of our people very well. Gran Colombia is a multi-project diversified company. Although right now we have one asset, which is the Segovia asset. Segovia is a district, it is not a mine. Segovia, it's 3,500 hectares in one concession with a very, very particular type of title. It's what they call a king's right. We are the owners of the land and we are the owners of the mineral rights. That's we just pay taxes. We have a second concession that is about 6,000 hectares in the south, where we're building a 4th mine that it's called Carla. We're just developing it right now. So what does it comprise? It comprises of 27 veins that were mined at one point or another since the 1800s and before, by the pre-Columbians in many ways. Out of that, there is 3 mines that are in operation right now where we are producing. And then there is 24 additional mines that are still right now in the process of us reactivating them. And that's the work that we are doing with exploration, drilling, and upgrading these mines. Our 4th mine that we're putting into operation is the Carla mine, which I mentioned that it's outside of the first title. But to give you an idea, the Carla mine is only a 3-level mine. It was called the Gran Colombia vein, which is one of the main veins over there. And the Gran Colombia vein is, give you an idea, is 1 ounce of gold with about 2 ounces of silver per ton.
Whoa.
So these are real, very rich veins.
So those are average grades?
The average grades that we get out of our mines is about 15 grams per ton.
So half an ounce.
Because we have half an ounce of gold with about, and it's 1-to-1 silver. So you get 1 ounce of gold in some cases, but we mine veins that have up to 3 ounces of gold. So it's just the average that we put in and how we blend and we mine something that it's more into a half an ounce.
Okay, so how thick are the veins normally? Meaning, what are
They
the widths?
go they go from a half a meters to 1.5 meters to 2 meters. They're narrow veins, but they're consistent. They don't disappear. Just to give you an idea, in El Silencio mine, we are mining down. It's the oldest of the 3 mines. We have the El Silencio, Sandraca, and Providencia. Those are the 3 mines. El Silencio is the oldest and the deepest of our mine. It goes over a kilometer down. At a kilometer down, we are mining now. We're still finding new veins and additional veins that we have announced in our press releases, and we announce grades. We mine some veins that, and they're consistent veins, very spaced out but consistent. We mine an average of 15 grams, but we mine, in some veins, we mine 3 ounces of gold per ton. We mine 1.5 ounces. We mine 3/4 of an ounce, but most of it is in the 1 ounce. Deeper you go, the richer gets the deposit.
How do you work that out with your processing plant? Because I can imagine that sometimes if you have such a diversity in the material, can this cause problems with the recovery?
No, because what we do is we mine and we blend. So what
So you have a
goes
stable
into the
grade.
mill, it's the same grade, between 11 and 15 grams per ton. That's what goes into the plant.
Okay.
So what is our plant? Our plant is a 1,500 tons a day plant. We just finished upgrading it to 2,000 tons. It's going to be finished by December. It's going to be actually processing 2,000 tons, which increases the capability of us producing more material. And we just installed, which goes into operation in September, an additional small plant, which is more for environmental purpose, but it recovers all the base metals and whatever gold and silver is left in the tailings, because we found out that the tailings, through the years, we never recovered zinc. We have over 1.5% zinc, and we have only, and we have about 1.5% in lead, but we recover 95% of the gold. So we leave 5% of the gold in the tailings, but we leave 40% of our silver, because our plant, either you recover more gold and you don't recover the silver, it goes into the tailing. And that's the reason why the Guia Antigua is going to be developed by itself. But that plant that we have now is going to make a concentrate, which does 2 things. Number one, it cleans the environment of heavy metals. And number 2, it gives us somewhere around between $12 and $16 million of extra income into the company by recovering those metals. So we do 2 things: save the environment and make money.
Yeah, I love it. That's super. You know, it's always great to make money out of waste.
That's
really amazing.
It's amazing. So what's exciting about Gran Colombia? Gran Colombia is a company we took a company that 5 years ago, I took the company over with Lombardo Paredes, that is our CEO, and is a fantastic guy to operate. We took this company from being a company that had $150 million in debt into a company that today has got less than $19 million in debt. And by the end of the year, it's going to be gone. We took it from being a company that was losing money into a company that's got now $100 million sitting in the bank by the end of this year. A company that pays a dividend to shareholders on a monthly basis. And we are so confident about our dividend and our dividend policy that it's something that it's constant. Even though we just acquired now the Guyana property and doubled the amount of shares, to our shareholders, we are still paying the dividend and planning to pay our dividend and have no problem.
Well, what is the current yield on your dividend? Annual yield,
The
approximately?
dividend gives almost 3.5%.
Oh, that's nice. On the bank, you get
It's
zero.
it's a nice check that I receive every single month. I can tell you that.
I
So
believe
the company has been successful in cleaning its balance sheet, getting the company going. But more important, the company has been very successful in diversifying itself. So what have we done? One of the policies that we created when we did this company, we had 3 assets in our portfolio. We had the Segovia mine, we had the Marmato mine, and we had the Zancudo mine. So Zancudo, we joint venture with IM Gold. Marmato is one of the best developing story right now in Colombia. It is called Aris Gold now. It's run by a gentleman named Neil Woodyear, fantastic mining guy. We handed over the mine to them so that they would take it into development. We raised $300 million for this mine. It's a mine that sits about 150 kilometers from the Segovia mine. It's got 6 million ounces of reserves. It's going to be a project. It's a fantastic project that's going to go into development and construction in the next 6 months, and fully financed. Gran Colombia owns 44% of the company, which is about $150 million of value that we have in the company. So what was our policy? We wanted to spin off Marmato so that Marmato would be a standalone company. We would be a shareholder, and it wouldn't interfere with our balance sheet. We did a consecutive group of investments in other companies that have now coming into fruition. Number one, we invested into a company called Goldex, which we just acquired, which is a huge project, probably one of the largest undeveloped gold mine in South America, with over 12 million ounces in resources. And we just took over the company and now are in the process of finalizing pre-feasibility, and that's going to be our next project that we're going to develop. And that's going to be our next mine that's going to take us to the 400,000 plus ounces a year producer in the next few years. We own 44% of a project that is going to be another 200,000 ounce producer. And we acquired 26% of the Denarius. Denarius is projects in Colombia, but most important, brownfield project in Spain, polymetallic, that's going to take us now from being a producer of gold and silver to become a producer not only of gold and silver, but also of these green metals that are going to be so much needed in the industry in the future, which is copper, silver, zinc, which are going to become very, very hot metals for the industry.
So that means also nice diversification in addition.
Nice diversification. The company, if I will look at the company, we are probably, and everybody says the same thing, we're one of the cheapest company to buy in our industry with our peers. I mean, we're a company that right now has a $500 million market cap. We basically are worth 2.5 times EBITDA of the company. So it's a ridiculous amount of the value that you have. It's a company that if you break it down into assets, just what we own in cash and in Aris Gold and in Denarius, I mean, we have $300 million in value in these companies. And here's a company that is worth alone. And we produce an EBITDA, we do an EBITDA of $200 million this year. So there is no correlation. And so there is only opportunity for this company to go up. And that's why some of our analysts give us ratings of $12 to $15 targets on our property.
Yeah, fully understood. So why do you think you have this discount to the market?
It's a company that, remember what I said before, I took it over 5 years ago. So it's a company that went through a big transition, and a lot of institutional investors still don't know the story. A lot of smart money has come into the company. We still have a very big retail following. It's a company that 5 years ago, if you would have looked at it, it was a company in trouble, a company that was overwritten with debt, a company that wasn't producing as efficient, that was producing gold at over $1,500 an ounce. Today is a company that produces gold at $800 an ounce, and it's a company
That's
all in sustainable. And when I mean all in sustainable with the kitchen sink, it's less than $1,100 an ounce. So it's a company that makes great profits. It's a company, but the people, the institutional investors that followed us 5 years ago, some of them still think that we are the same company. And now they're coming into the realization that we are a completely different company than where we used to be. And that's why you're starting to see more attention and our demographics changing from being a company that had 35%, 40% institutional investors to a company that we are somewhere around 50, 55. And when we end up being with a 70% institutional investor, then you're going to see the price of the stock changing.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's really interesting. What has management share?
About 5%.
Also,
It's
okay,
owned by
super.
management.
So if I get you correct to coming to an end here, the next step would be like a 400,000 ounce producer per annum, but it could be also like going to 600, 800,000 in the longer term future. Did I get that correct?
That's our goal, is to become a mid-tier producer. Our next step of becoming a mid-tier producer, because I cannot consolidate our 44% ownership of Iris Gold. It's just an investment, but still, Iris is going to produce 200, and knowing Neil Woodyear, he'll take the production to 400,000 ounces.
Oh yes, I know him well, definitely.
Yeah. So Neil is a
Neil
monster.
is great. Yeah, he's absolutely great.
So without counting that, if I count what's going to be Guyana, that's going to be our next. And please follow it, because it's going to be incredible news coming in the next few weeks in this company. We are going to develop the Toroparu project. And the Toroparu project, we're going to develop it between 180 and 200,000 ounces. That's going to be in the next 26 months that we're going to develop the project.
Wow.
So, and build it and operate it and put it into production. If that's the case, that's our next step. Not counting Iris Gold, that takes us to 400,000 ounces right off the top. And then if we start looking at Denarius, and we start looking at increasing production in Segovia, which is going to be our next key, you know, we could become the 400 to 600,000 ounce producer within the next 5 years.
Fantastic. Super. Hey, that sounds like a great game plan. I really like it. And to be honest, you convinced me. I will buy shares.
Well, thank you, Rick. I hope
definitely,
so. We would
really
love to have you as a shareholder.
Yeah, thank you very much. No, it's really fantastic. Thank you very much for your time. And that was really interesting for me also, because it was our first session here. And yeah, look forward to talk very soon to you, and wish you all the best. And please keep us posted with very good news. We want to see this 500,000 ounce production.
Well, we will get there, and love to talk to you again soon with some great news.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Gran Colombia Gold with Serafino Iacono, the executive chairman, and you heard it. I think there is nothing really more to add because this really looks fantastic. This is a great company. Last 5 years, when Serafino took it over and went into it, really developed extremely well. The costs went significantly down, and from over $1,500 to approximately $1,100 all in. And yeah, the company is already producing over 200,000 ounces of gold, is well cashed up, will have no debt by the year end, $100 million approximately, then cash in the bank by year end. Those are all those type of things we really like, and a lot of optionality for future production, additional production, and not only in the long, far future distance. No, it's all I would call short to a little bit of midterm. So let's say between the next 24 and 36 months. This is exactly what we need because, yeah, commodities are hot and this company is hot. I would suggest you really check this out. Thanks for watching us and bye bye from Switzerland.